Hey geeks, welcome back to the Geeksiders podcast. I'm Josh,
I'm Anna.
and in this episode, we're going to be reviewing Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 5, titled The Bells. Obviously, if you haven't seen that episode yet, don't listen to this podcast because we're going to spoil everything. All right, let's just jump right into this dog shit episode. Yeah, nothing surprising about it at all.
Nope, basically exactly what you thought was going to happen in this episode based off of the end of last episode is exactly what happened in this episode.
And everything about it was kind of just obvious and anticlimactic.
Yeah.
I want to start with Clegane Bowl, Sandor Clegane versus his brother Gregor. And I got to tell you, I was really disappointed in that fight. There was no outright winner. It basically came to a draw, and they both, fell out of the Red Keep into the flames and died. I would have preferred a clear winner, even if whoever won eventually succumbed to their wounds. That would have been better than what we got.
Yeah, I mean, the whole fight in and of itself was kind of wah-wah.
I feel like the setting for the fight in the stairwell was the wrong setting.
Yeah.
For two behemoth men like that, you need to have it in a flat area where you could really...
Like down in the map room.
Yeah, that would have been a good spot.
That would have been a better area, so they had some room to maneuver. Like maybe that would have made it a little bit better.
Because I feel like in a stairwell, it's more conducive to a good fight between two people who are very maneuverable.
Yeah,
that would have been a good thing. But these two dudes who aren't, they're
kind
big,
of
slow
big,
guys.
Yeah.
It was a bad setting for that fight.
The only thing I will give this fight that I liked is that the Hound sacrificed himself knowing that his brother needed to die.
Yeah.
That was the only good thing I will say about the fight. He knew his brother needed to die, and so he sacrificed himself in order to obtain that goal. But that was really about it. Otherwise, it was kind of like, I feel like we've been building up to that fight all
The whole series.
Yeah, and it just kind of, it fell flat for us.
Ever since the first season when they were having the joust and the mountain almost decapitated the Hound because he kept fighting when the king ordered them to stop, I'm like, okay, some shit's going to go down between these two. And then it was not the fight that I was hoping for at all. All right, let's talk about Cersei and Jaime. Their deaths also very anticlimactic. I feel like Arya or Dany should have executed Cersei.
Yeah, I feel like Cersei should have been executed by somebody. She shouldn't have been able to go out in Jaime's arms. That was a disservice to the fans.
Yeah.
That she did not deserve that good of a death.
Yeah. And then Jaime too going, basically kind of consoling her in that moment.
Yeah.
And he's still in love with her.
Yeah. Jaime deserved having that death, getting to hold her because, he's kind of done some shady crap, but he's redeemed himself. I don't know. Like, I'm okay with Jaime's part in it, but Cersei, she didn't deserve that.
See, I would have been fine if Jaime lived, like if he survived the whole Game of Thrones and
Yeah,
settled down quietly with Brienne. I would have been perfectly fine with that.
Yeah, I would have been fine if he
Like,
survived
I
the whole
don't
thing too.
feel like this death was really, first of all, it was such just a pathetic death. The keep caved in on them.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is it was a pathetic death for Jaime.
Yeah.
And they tried to not make it pathetic by having him fight Euron first.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, Euron's wounds didn't kill him. They keep fell in on him, and that's what killed him. So
He
that
might not
fight
have
with
survived. He
Euron,
probably wouldn't have, because that was a big old dagger that went through him.
He might not have, probably wouldn't have, but that's not what killed him.
No.
So I'm sorry, but that fight with Euron, that didn't kill him. That was to make Jaime not go out as such a puss when the keep fell in on him, and it I don't buy it.
Like, even if they had gone the route of, okay, Cersei and Jaime escape, right? And they're sailing off to wherever Tyrion told them to go. I forget where. And Jaime dies on the way. And Cersei gets there alone, and then she ends up being, like, enslaved. That would have been great.
I would have taken that. Yes. I would have taken that, but Cersei
I'm just
did
spitballing
not,
here, and it's better than that shit we got in this episode.
Cersei did not deserve that death. Like,
No.
that was, no.
Like, if she had wound up as a slave somewhere, that would have been amazing.
Yes, yeah, that would have been fine.
So, I don't know, just that I thought was really, really weak. Let's see, what else? Before we get to the big thing.
Yeah, before we get to the
episode.
big, giant disappointment that I have lots to rant about. Let's talk
is
about
there-
Arya.
Okay, we'll talk about Arya.
Yeah, Arya was one of the one things they did right in this episode, for me personally.
Yeah.
I'm actually really, really happy that Arya decided not to get revenge, because it shows that they actually do know how to write female characters, because sometimes you wonder. She doesn't let her emotions completely overrun her. She realizes that she doesn't have to get revenge on everybody, and that it is kind of senseless, and she decides to leave. And when she leaves, you know, she's trying to help out as many people as possible, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what she does in the next episode, because she's not happy.
and you know what else? It showed a bit of forward thinking by Arya.
Yes.
That a lot of characters you don't see from in this show, even in the earlier seasons when it was really good.
Yeah.
People don't tend to think a couple steps ahead. Arya obviously was. She's like, okay, I'm going to miss out on killing Cersei, but there's still some people out there that need to die. If I die here, I can't do that.
Yeah, and that was kind of the thing, is, you know, the Hound told her, if you come in here, you're going to die.
Yeah.
So you may or may not kill Cersei, but you will definitely die. And there's more people on your list. There's more things that are going to happen that you might not get to help with. So, you know, she kind of thought about it, and she was like, I'm not ready to die yet. There's other things I need to accomplish. And checking one person off my list who's probably going to die anyway, not worth it. I can always come back if she doesn't die.
I don't know how many people are left on her list. It can't be many.
No, it can't be many. But it wouldn't surprise me if there's people added to her list that we maybe haven't been privy to.
I mean, maybe somebody has her list memorized and knows like what names still need to be checked off, if there are any. I mean, I might be talking out of my ass here. I mean, maybe Cersei was the last name on the list.
Maybe, but you know, like I said, she also could have been like, you know what? I don't have to kill her right now.
Yeah.
I can leave. If she doesn't die, I can come back and get her later.
Yeah.
Like it's not she doesn't have to die right this second.
Regardless, it showed some forward thinking.
Yes. Yeah.
Which again, I mean, characters in this show tend to be impulsive.
Yeah.
Case in point, Jon telling Sansa about his secret, which was a bonehead move, and brings us to, I guess, our final talking point for this this podcast. They've been building up Dany as the Mad Queen, and they've been doing a shit job of it, to be honest, because nothing she's done is a symptom of insanity. None of it.
No.
It's a symptom of
rage. And really, okay, so this is my big rant and pet peeve about how they've been doing the Mad Queen, because as Josh pointed out, none of the things she's been doing are symptoms of insanity, which we'll get to in a minute. My big thing is that this whole Dany thing comes off as, well, women in power are just too emotional to make good decisions. Because when Cersei rang the bells and surrendered, you see this pissed off look on Dany's face, and then she burns the whole fucking place down. So that seemed very emotional.
And that's blind
rage.
And
it was blind
which is
rage.
Not crazy. It's not insane.
It's not crazy.
And like what we were just talking about before we hit record, if Dany is insane because of what she did, then Grey Worm is insane because of what he did. Because as soon as she went off and started burning the city, Grey Worm started. I mean, he drew first blood. He struck the first blow, and started slaughtering the people who had just surrendered, who had just laid down their weapons.
And we were talking about, before we started recording, about, none of Dany doesn't have any signs of insanity.
She's not paranoid.
Yeah, she's not paranoid. When every time she talks about things happening, they're actually happening. When she told Jon not to tell Sansa about being a Targaryen
because Sansa's gonna friggin' spread it to the world.
What did she do? She actually spread it to the world.
Yeah.
So, like, that's not paranoid. She was right. When she told Tyrion that somebody betrayed her, she was right. Varys betrayed her. So, like, these aren't signs of insanity. She's not actually paranoid. Things are actually happening to her.
You're not paranoid if they're actually out to get you.
Yeah,
and
so,
people
like,
are actually out to get her.
She doesn't actually have any signs of insanity, so she's not actually having any of these signs.
She's just an overly emotional woman who has a dragon.
Yeah, and happens to be in charge. So it's actually really, really shitty writing.
Yeah, it is.
And
they should have done a little bit of research.
Yeah, and it's really pissing me off. If they wanted to do the Mad Queen, which, I'm sorry, like, it seems really obvious because that's how all Targaryens go, so it really seems obvious. But if they wanted to do the Mad Queen, they should have been hinting at it seasons ago, and she should have been showing symptoms of insanity seasons ago, and it should have just been getting worse and worse and worse and worse. If you're gonna do the Mad Queen, do the fucking Mad Queen.
And
don't do emotional woman who's PMSing or something stupid like that.
And I know people listening are gonna go, well, they did show it seasons ago. Not really.
No.
She had a few dark impulses and was reined in. That's still not being insane.
No.
That's, still, a woman who's a little bit emotional and has dragons.
Yes.
It's
still
not
emotional woman who's
insane.
in power.
Yeah. So,
and it's frustrating and it's pissing me off.
She doesn't hear voices. She's not paranoid. I mean, I wish they would have done a little bit of research on, schizophrenia or something to show that she actually is not all there.
Yeah.
Because she has her faculties. She's just prone to anger. Well, a lot of people have anger issues.
Yeah.
And not all of them have dragons.
And it's not even that she's prone to anger. She has rightful anger.
Yeah.
Like, these things that are happening to her, she has every right to be angry. They're dealing with it really, really badly.
Yeah.
And it's really sad because you have this woman who has literally fought and worked and struggled her entire life for one purpose, and that is to sit on the Iron Throne. This woman speaks 3 languages fluently. She's done nothing but work towards this goal. And yet you've got this guy who's literally done nothing, doesn't want it, and he's going to end up on the throne. Handed the throne.
I really hope they throw us a swerve. I really hope they throw us a swerve now and put Tyrion on the throne.
Yeah, I would rather literally anybody else besides Jon Snow, because if Jon gets the Iron Throne, I'm going to be pissed because he's literally done nothing for it. It's being handed to him on a silver platter. Like,
he doesn't want it.
Yeah, he doesn't want it.
And I don't know that Tyrion does either.
I don't know that Tyrion does either, but at least Tyrion has worked towards it a little, now, just because of who he is as a family.
I'm on board with the Tyrion is a Targaryen theory.
Me too.
Because that makes him older than Jon and the true heir to the throne.
Yes, and okay, so I totally forgot about my little theory here. During the show, Tyrion lets Jaime go, and Jaime was like, well, she's gonna execute you for this, and he's like, well, if it saves tens of thousands, what's the life of one dwarf? And I was like, I kind of hope she does, because then if she tries
to execute him by dragonfire,
because she's gonna execute him by dragonfire, and how amazing would it be if she executes him as Dracarys and he doesn't burn? I'm gonna squeeze so hard if that's how that'll be like the only redeeming quality of this entire shit season.
And the thing is, it does seem like the showrunners, Dave and Dave, or Dan and Dan, whatever the fuck their names are, it seems like they've just gone on blogs and picked every fan theory, and that's what they're doing. So it wouldn't shock me at all, Tyrion, because that's been a fan theory for a while.
Yeah,
the dragon has 3 heads. And it's, Dany, Jon, and Tyrion. That's been the theory for a while now. Yeah. So it wouldn't surprise me at all, because they're just going, oh, let's just take all the fan theories and that'll be our story.
And I'm really on board for that fan theory. So excuse me, I'm really on board for that fan theory. So if that one does happen, and that's how it has to happen. Like, she has to execute him and he has to not burn.
Yeah.
That's how it has to happen. And that will be the only redeeming quality of this entire messed up, stupid season.
Because the whole way Tyrion would be a Targaryen, I think the theory goes that the Mad King had raped Tyrion's mom, and so the Mad King was his father.
Yeah.
He was his bastard. So that would put Tyrion above Jon.
And that's why Tyrion's father hated him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's been the theory.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't surprise me. It would be better than the direction it looks like they're going.
Yeah. Like, if Jon ends up on the throne, like,
that's a weak ending.
It's a very weak ending. Yeah. And it's so predictable at this point. But I mean, like, they've been going so predictable this whole season. Like, we've predicted everything. Like, this episode, as it was happening, I'm like, oh, they're going to do this. Oh, they're going to do this. They're going to do this. I'm like, are you kidding me? Really?
As it turns out, this season, and the last 2 seasons, every single fan theory out there has been right.
Yeah.
I'm like, just, okay, like, so really, all of them are right?
All of them? All of them?
So it really looks like they were just looking at the blogs and going, well, there's our story. And I don't know, when George R.R. Martin, if he ever finishes the novels, it might end completely different from this. But I'll tell you what, I'm not giving him any more of my money until all the books are finished and I've read reviews on whether or not they're worth reading. Because if it ends exactly like this, fuck it, what's the point?
Yeah, no, if it ends like this, yeah, no.
I would bet all the money in my wallet right now that it does not end this way.
Oh yeah, no, I bet it's a completely different story.
I bet it's completely different, and I bet it's 1,000 times better than what we're getting.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Because I mean, it really does.
I bet Dany's story is 1,000,000 times better. I bet she's not emotional, and if he went the Mad Queen route, I bet she's actually insane.
Yeah.
And not just emotional.
So wow. I mean, this season has just. It's gotten. There's been issues, but it hasn't been horrible.
This season's
until
been awful.
now.
Yeah, this season is absolute dog shit.
In totality, it is shit.
Yeah.
But it's been getting progressively worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Up to now, I wouldn't call this a dog shit season. After this episode, it's a dog shit season.
Yeah. This episode is the worst episode of the season.
Of the series.
Oh, yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, I'll give that. Yeah, worst episode of the series. But it's kind of ruined this season for me. Yeah. Like, this season wasn't very good to begin with for me, but it's absolutely ruined the season for me. It's ruined Daenerys for me.
Yeah.
I don't even, like, I wanted to cosplay a new version of her. I kind of don't even want to cosplay her now.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of takes a person off my cosplay list, but...
Yeah, save a little bit of money.
Yeah.
But man, oh man. Speaking of cosplay, guess who made the top 3 for the Spacey Awards for Indie Cosplayer?
Yes, I did. Now, once they open up voting again, I thought they stopped at top 3 and then they chose who moved on. But
I've seen it both ways.
Yeah, but now apparently they're going to reopen voting and
to top 2.
Yeah, and whoever gets top 2 will then move on to the Spacey Awards and they'll choose the winner. Because
that's what their Facebook post said. But then when you read the not the instruction, well, kind of the instructions,
like the website,
for the Spacey Awards, it's top 3.
Yeah,
so I think they forgot their own rules.
Yeah, they did. They totally did forget their own rules. I don't know, but whatever. I made the top 3. I don't know how I made the top 3 because I only posted my link once. So, I don't know. Somehow I did.
Well, the person who won it last year was eliminated, right?
Yeah, and I wonder if they did that. I wonder if they don't allow you to win twice in a row. So I wonder if after you get so far, they eliminate the person who won last year.
That could be. So anyway, Anna might win the Spacey Cosplayer of the Year award. So
I might get nominated for it. I'm not even into the
You're
final
closer
round
than
yet.
you've ever been.
Yes, I am.
You've been in the running for 3 years in a row now?
Yes.
And you're
I've
closer
been
than
nominated 3 years in a row now. And this is the first time I've actually made it into the voting part. So
the top 3.
The top 3. I made it into the top 5, and now I'm into the top 3. So I don't think I've ever made it into the top 5 before. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So that's a really big deal, and hopefully Anna wins.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. All right, I think that's going to be it for this podcast. Let us know what you guys think. You can follow us on. I run the Geeksiders Twitter stuff at Geeksiders. Everything social media for the Geeksiders podcast is Geeksiders. Just Google it, look it up. You'll find all our social media stuff. And where can they find you if they want to follow you?
I am on all the social medias at Anastasia Cosplay. Oh, Anna is ANNA.
All right, that's going to be it for this week. Thank you all for listening.
And we will talk to you next week.